I have worked with the NLP, Natural Language Processing Department at ICT over the past 3 weeks during this internship to develop my own project, which is an AI maintenance support system in which it processes manuals and gives advice to questions about maintenance equipment in the military.
I am working on natural language processing with Cadet Connors.
Okay. Right now I'm with Dr. Benjamin Nye and Dr. Mark Kaur of the Learning Science Division, and I am working with LLMs and specifically metacognition. I'm currently working for the Vision Graphics Lab underneath Bipin Kishore, specifically with the light stage. What I was able to do was create like a wireless network where you can connect other wireless devices underneath to have control of the light stage, so you don't necessarily need to be at the mother computer anymore.
One of the biggest challenges I have faced during this project and during this experience is trying to give AI some constraints to adhere to when responding to prompts, telling it not to respond to everything, and making it more specific rather than general.
I would say the most challenging aspect of my project is really just taking the initiative to learn how to test our AI bot that we made and understanding that there are so many perspectives that go into testing and into doing research that you don't initially think of.
For me, definitely understanding that, especially when you're prompting LLMs, every single word or token can really affect the output. And so every tweak you make can have huge impacts. The most challenging aspect was probably learning all the code. I kind of came into mechanical engineering or engineering in general to like build things, and I guess I thought of building as more like hands-on, and also just like equation stuff. I had a big interest in physics, so I thought engineering was an applicable way to do that. I didn't really think of computers or electronic boards, but I had to learn. So learning embedded C, getting better with Python, connecting microcontrollers to the computer. A lot of stuff to have to do with the computer. Didn't end up building a single structure, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah, now I can control a giant network of lights and cameras with just my phone.
Some advice I would give to a future intern at ICT would be to take in every single opportunity. Don't be shy, go make conversation, make those connections, talk to people, and put yourself out of your comfort zone.
I would tell them to take advantage of every opportunity you're given, make as many connections as possible. The internship here is unlike so many other internships I've heard of before, where someone is just sitting behind their desk pretending to look busy. Here, they are giving you so much opportunity to learn and challenge yourself and grow, where like you just want to take advantage of every opportunity that you're given.
I would say really just absorb everything you can. I mean, it's such a big and diverse place to work at. I think both opportunity-wise and people. And even though I'm just inside my own lab, there's so many different other labs and so many different other people to talk to. It's just such a great place to work. You can get a lot more out of it than it just being on your resume. It develops you as an engineer entirely. It is definitely a research-based institution here, and you can explore so much while you're here. Yes, you have a task at hand, but the amount of rabbit holes I went down of just learning about microcontrollers, and now I'm like looking into Raspberry Pis and home labbing and Linux, it just opens up many doors. And I think that's a lot of things that not just engineers need, but a lot of people need to just expand their horizons.
I'm working with the Natural Language Dialogue group, specifically with Dr. David Traum. I'm working on one of their virtual human projects, trying to refine the output sentences to give a better experience in communicating with that.
I'm working with Dr. Gail Lucas and Dr. Denise Marty, and they are conducting a study to understand what different things influence people to trust AI so people don't overtrust or undertrust it.
I'm working on the Army writing style activity under the Army Writing Enhancement Tool with Dr. Nye.
I'm working on the Human Swarm Interaction Project, which is a program that had participants. We had 31 participants. They would get a grid of a neighborhood with 10 drones, and they had to talk to an AI assistant to help send the drones down and rescue civilians before a fire got to them.
Biggest challenge I've faced during this project is trying to find the best possible answer out of the roughly 1,700 answers that the AI has. So having the correct answer is definitely a challenging task, just having to sort through all that data, but it's a rewarding challenge at the end of the day.
The challenge for me is my major is mechie, and a lot of this is with AI and more like computer science. That's been challenging because that's not really what my classes have been about so far.
I think the major challenge is trying to figure out how exactly we want to design it, because we haven't tested the Army writing style on any specific person yet, so it's kind of hard to figure out like what actually fits best and how people are going to learn. It's kind of theoretical at this point. So I think our biggest challenge was trying to create a design that we thought would be helpful without actually testing it beforehand.
My major challenge was trying to classify like the main ideas that most people took when approaching this challenge. It was kind of easy to get all the data from every single person, but actually like going into what strategies each person took and trying to classify each one all together was really hard to find out.
My advice to other interns would be to reach out to other members of the staff and other interns. At the very worst, having a second opinion on an idea is always great. And at the very best, the staff here are very smart people that have been working on these projects far longer than we have. So they have great insight on how to further refine this project.
Just rely on your mentors if you're struggling with something, because they definitely want to help you, and they've been doing their project for years, so they're like experts in it. So definitely ask them for help if you're not sure with what's going on.
For me, it would definitely be interact with like the other interns around you and those who have worked here at ICT. Coming into this experience, I didn't really know much about AI or how to interact with LLMs or other things like that, but a lot of the individuals around me have been working on these projects for years, if not months. And being able to kind of pick their brains for knowledge has really helped me develop my skills and be more successful while being here. So definitely like interact with those around you. They're a lot of fun. Go out and do things with them outside of work. That's definitely been a highlight of my experience here.
I think the biggest thing I would say is be receptive. There's a lot of people here who know a lot of things about AI and LLMs. I think it's really important for you to get in and soak in that knowledge as much as you can.
Just reach out to everyone. You know, this is an awesome opportunity, once in a lifetime opportunity. Just reach out to everyone here, talk to everyone, and just get to know a lot of people.
Currently, I'm in the Vision and Graphics lab, working with the light stage. At the moment, I'm working on 2 different projects, one of which is developing a new layout and schematic for the light boards, which consist of all the lights. And in doing so, I need to minimize and reduce cost of a mobile light stage. Another project I'm working on is developing a hardware in loop scenario, which allows us to develop light boards at a nanofabrication center and then test them in-house.
At ICT, I'm working with Dr. Nye in the Learning Sciences department. So that department creates a lot of instructional software for instructors to use, and I am currently working on content generation, and more specifically, I'm trying to generate multiple choice questions, particularly questions and answers, and also distractors as well. Multiple choice questions are actually really effective for understanding and assessing students' misconceptions and just overall how they're learning the material in the class. However, the only caveat with that is that if the multiple choice questions are effective and highly crafted and verified. So that's what I'm currently working on.
Thanks. The current project that I've been working on is within the HMIF framework, which is the Human-Machine Integrated Formations, which is the military's way of saying machines and automated formations working together with humans to do things more safer or more efficiently.
So I'm working with Dr. Lucas, and The overarching project is trying to design a virtual agent that teaches people negotiation skills. And so I'm tasked with designing the website interface in order for this to even happen. So I'm going to design the website in order for people to get match made, conduct the call, and then also we want them to annotate over themselves. That's kind of the really important part of this project. We want to collect data, so we want people to tell us when they're suppressing their emotions when they are doing the negotiation scenario. So for instance, if they get a bad deal and they have a straight face, we want them to annotate that. We want them to tell us that. So the virtual agent we're designing can actually detect these as well in the future.
My project is focused on dialogue state tracking. I'm working in the natural language dialogue group here at ICT, and my supervisor is Dr. Kaliroy Georgilla. My project basically focuses on monitoring and keeping track of whatever the user wants in a conversation. So I'm working on task-oriented data sets which have dialogues between the user and the system. And what I want to do is keep track of whatever the user is listing out in those data sets, like in those conversations.
My biggest challenge has been the barrier to entry. Although I learned a lot in the classroom, it's very different to apply your knowledge and almost be introduced to a lot of different concepts at once. So having to experience or go through the researching process of gathering enough information to be able to actually conduct what you need to do is a challenging part. But once you ask questions, do your research, everything kind of comes together and it starts making sense and you are able to create an amazing project.
My biggest challenge I'm facing right now is that since we're integrating AI and using agents for content generation, it's difficult to generate effective distractors for instructors to use. So it's the only reason why it's a lot of trouble and like a lot of researchers are encountering this problem is because distractors are rooted in misconceptions, and in order to generate misconceptions, you can't really generate it on the fly. It has to be based in human knowledge and human tendencies. So it's just having a collection of misconceptions and I suppose fine-tuning the models to effectively create misconceptions a student might have is the most challenging part, because without that we can't create effective distractors, and the MCQ generation process would be more time-consuming and ineffective for instructors.
However, this project has been like pretty much iced for quite a bit, so we had to rapidly meet a lot of deadlines. So the hardest challenges for us, or for me specifically, was crunching in all the time to make it work.
Yeah, so I would say my biggest challenge is probably just the whole web design part, period, just because I don't have a lot of experience on a large scale web project like this. So it's just kind of getting my feet wet and just seeing like how things kind of work on a bigger scale instead of just like a personal project I'm doing at home. And yeah, just learning the ropes.
So my project is more on how I design the prompt. So the biggest challenge for me was just writing the prompt in a way that my LLM is able to understand and execute nicely. And I tweaked it a lot of times, and like I could see the changes in my evaluations and everything. And also a lot of times hallucinations were happening. Like sometimes my model was talking about something entirely different from what the user is talking about. So yeah, that was another challenge that I had to fix, again, using the prompt, tweaking the prompt.
My biggest piece of advice is to take advantage of your resources here at ICT. This place is truly somewhere where you could do things you think were impossible. So also make connections with your peers and your mentors. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to not only be yourself, but go above and beyond to make those networking connections.
Intern.
My advice for incoming interns is to be proactive, not only just in your workplace, like asking questions to your mentor, getting to know your peers. Enjoy your time here. a huge melting pot of different people from different backgrounds. And so just try to enjoy that.
The biggest advice I would give is don't be afraid to like ask for stuff, not like in the physical sense, but more in terms of advice and like flexibility. As I'm pretty sure many of the internships here like allow for a more hybrid type of work environment where you can work partially from home.
My biggest piece of advice would be establishing good communication with your mentors or whoever you're working with here. Just always asking questions and just being a sponge in whatever room you're in and just trying to talk to whoever you can, network, and yeah, just have fun.
And basically is relate with the AI. And also you have to be communication with your mentor, your working colleagues, or your PhD students. You can learn a lot from them. And basically I want to say, and also your another interns or volunteers, you enjoy the experience when you talk with them, you can learn a lot from others.
I think that it is very important to talk to a lot of people. Like I felt like the more that I talk to people about my project, the greater understanding I could have on myself as well of what exactly I'm working on. And yeah, talk to a lot of people, ask a lot of people. Like you can get so many good advices from so many different people. And yeah, I think that's my advice.